Halloween last year was supposed to be fun. Me and my friends, Kyle, Mia, and Jace, had this plan to go trick or treating around our neighborhood just for the nostalgia. We're all teenagers now, but we thought it'd be funny to dress up one last time. I went as a vampire, Kyle was a zombie, Mia wore a witch costume, and Jace just threw on a mask and called himself a murderer, which honestly looked lazy, but whatever. We started around 8 p.m., going house to house, messing around, and recording random videos for TikTok. The streets were packed with kids at first, but by around 10, it started getting quieter. Most houses had their lights off, and only a few people were still out. We were about to head home when Jace suggested we hit one more street, the one near the edge of our subdivision. Everyone calls it Maple Lane, but it's more like a dead-end road with maybe 3 houses. It's always dark there because the streetlight's been broken for years. At first, we didn't really want to go, but Jace kept teasing us, saying we were scared, so we gave in. When we got there, it was completely silent. No decorations, no lights, nothing. But the second house had a single pumpkin on the porch with a candle still burning inside. The glow looked kind of eerie because the face was carved weird. It didn't even look like a normal jack-o'-lantern face. The mouth was stretched too wide and uneven, like whoever carved it didn't know what they were doing. Kyle walked up to the door first and knocked. We waited. No one answered. He knocked again, louder. Then, after a few seconds, the door creaked open, just a little. We all froze. There was no sound coming from inside, no movement, just the open door. Hello? Mia called out, but no one responded. She looked at me like, we should leave, but Kyle laughed and pushed the door a bit wider. Trick or treat, he yelled jokingly, peeking inside. Then he turned back to us and said, there's a bowl on the table. He stepped inside, grabbed a few candies, and came back out. See? Chill, guys. He handed me one of the candies. It was an old, faded red lollipop. No brand, no wrapper, just a stick with the red candy on top. That's when Jace noticed something weird. The candle inside the pumpkin flickered, then went out. We all turned to look at it, and for a second, it looked like the carved face had changed. The eyes looked narrower, like it was frowning now. We all kind of laughed it off, but the air felt heavier, like the whole street suddenly got colder. We started walking back, and I kept turning around because I swore I heard footsteps behind us. Not close, but far enough to sound like someone was walking slowly, keeping distance. Mia noticed too. She grabbed my arm and whispered, do you hear that? We all stopped to listen, but everything went dead silent. Then, faintly, we heard the door of that house creak again. When I looked back, the door was fully open now. There was light flickering inside like a TV glow, but there hadn't been any sound before. Jace, being Jace, said he wanted to check it out one last time. We told him not to, but he ran ahead anyway. He went inside yelling, hello? Anyone home? We waited outside for him to come back, but a minute passed, then 2. Nothing. Kyle started to call his name, but there was no reply. Mia was about to go in after him when we saw Jace at the door again. He just stood there facing us, not saying anything. The light behind him flickered, and for a split second, I thought his mask looked different. It wasn't the same plastic one. It looked darker, shinier, like it was wet. Kyle, I whispered, something's wrong. Kyle shouted at Jace to stop messing around, but he just stood there. Then, really slowly, he tilted his head. I grabbed Mia's hand, and we both started backing away. Kyle still thought it was a joke, but when he got closer, Jace stepped back into the dark, completely vanishing from the doorway. We ran. None of us even said anything. We just ran down the street and didn't stop until we got back to my house. Kyle was pissed and kept saying Jace was trying to scare us,